Hi everyone, I'm Shwetha Acharya. I work for CephFS engineering team at IBM where I focus on SMB integration with CephFS. Meanwhile, I also focus on maintaining your application component of ClusterFS. Most of you might be aware that ClusterFS is almost towards EOL, and however, we are supporting it for our downstream customers, and I'll be working on it till end of this year, after which I'll be free to work fully on Samba and CephFS related work. So this is an effort to share my recent understanding on volume shadow copy service or VSS with CephFS and Samba. Hope this talk interests you. Okay, so let me begin with a simple introduction to SMB and Samba. So SMB stands for Server Message Block. This is a protocol used to share files, printers, and other resources over the network. Linux system use a different protocol named as NFS, Network File System. You must be already aware of it. As Linux systems and Windows system follow two different protocols for sharing resources over the network, it becomes a challenge when a Linux server and Windows client tries to, maybe vice versa, tries to share resources over the network. So there won't be any common ground of understanding between each other's requests or responses. To solve this problem, an open source project named Samba comes into rescue. So Samba integrates Linux systems in Windows environments such that the Windows clients will be able to access the file shared as if they're accessing it on their own Windows environment. So Samba enables this type of interoperability between different operating systems, enabling network sharing seamlessly over the network. So now let's understand about volume shadow copy services. So we all are aware that backups are important for protecting the data against risk, such as accidental deletion, hardware failures, natural disasters, ransomware attacks, and other unforeseen events. To effectively manage these risks, different backup approaches are adopted depending on the acceptable amount of data we can lose, time available for restoring, and also the available infrastructure. We use approaches like full backups, incremental backups, snapshots, or sometimes the hybrid of all these approaches for long-term retention, for enabling data restoration from weeks, months, or even years. So now we were talking about importance of backups. So let's understand about the challenges that are involved while we create these type of backups. First is data inconsistency due to multiple writers and readers. So this is mainly happening in a distributed system. So when we have many clients, there will be many users trying to access the same file. They will be trying to edit the file, some will be trying to delete the file, maybe whatnot. They will be trying to do a lot of operations on a single file. During this situation, it becomes difficult to maintain a consistent copy over all the distributed system or all the clients that are involved. And the second challenge will be lack of coordination between all the involved components. So there will be a application that will be holding data that we want to back up. And there will be some other application that is trying to create backup. There is storage hardware, there is storage software. We need to coordinate the interaction between all these components, and this should be seamless as well in order to get a consistent backup. So volume shadow copy service in Windows solves this above problem. So this is similar to the snapshot features we use in CephFS, but this is something done on a Microsoft Windows, done by Microsoft Windows. So it provides an efficient solution by creating point-in-time copies of data, enabling quick recovery and rollback without impacting ongoing operations or without taking any of your applications offline. So it takes care of actions like maintaining the consistency while creating the point-in-time copy. It also facilitates the conversation between all these components that are involved, making this procedure completely seamless. This particular feature, named as volume shadow copy, deals with multiple use cases. We'll be going through only one of them in detail in next slides, but for the completeness of the information, I'll be letting you know about various other uses that are involved. So the first one is backup and recovery. So applications can be written using VSS APIs to create and manage the backup in desired way in Windows system. So this is like we improvise over the snapshot feature, and we make it work with backup management system. So we can write any of the applications using the already available VSS APIs. Next usage will be shared folders with Samba. So as I have already described about SMB and Samba, we will be able to share a folder from a Linux server to a Windows client. So on this server, we can create the snapshots, and these snapshots can be accessed and even restored from the Windows client. The third use case is restore point feature in Windows. So this is for reverting PC state to the previous point in time. This can be particularly useful when troubleshooting issues caused by recent changes, such as software installations, driver updates, or system setting modifications. So in Windows, we have a way of creating a restore point, and then maybe updating the softwares. And then maybe something goes wrong, you can go back to the previous version. So even for this, we use VSS feature. Next is third-party applications for data mining. Read-only copies can be transported to servers with same subsystem and be used in tasks like testing or data analysis. So this is basically, we'll be copying the data, but they will be read-only. This is for basically for analyzing this data. So, but in this session, as I already said before, we'll be only concentrating on the shared folders with Samba. And Ceph will act as backend storage here. And we'll be discussing in terms of snapshots or point-in-time shadow copies. So now let's understand about components of volume shadow copy system. So these are the components that volume shadow copy understands. So first is VSS service. This is part of Windows operating system, which enables all the involved components to communicate with each other. Next is VSS requester. The components that wants to create the backup, or the component that is requesting for the backup. And next is VSS writer, the component that makes sure that we have consistent data for backup. Next is VSS provider, the component that creates and maintains these shadow copies. So I'll be using these terms alternatively. Shadow copies is nothing but point-in-time copies. In Linux world, you call it as snapshots too. Now, CephFS. How are we integrating CephFS with this existing volume shadow copy services? So this is a diagrammatic explanation of whatever I have said before. So we have a volume shadow copy service in center, which is enabling communication between various other components like VSS requester, VSS provider, writer, and Ceph backend. So in our case, we can take the same example of a Linux system, which is having data on a Ceph backend, and we have a Windows client who is trying to access the data using Samba. So now hereafter, we'll be talking only with respect to Samba, SMB, and CephFS. We'll not be taking in consideration to all other use cases that I have already mentioned. So here, we can map the existing features of CephFS to the components that VSS feature can understand. So here, CephFS will be acting as VSS writer and takes care that the data consistency is achieved during the process of creation of point-in-time backups or snapshots on server, while data be shared, where the data to be shared is located. So as I said, VSS will be taking care of the data consistency in case we are doing the backup on the Windows server itself. But now our use case is different. We are trying to achieve this on different operating systems. And we are, in this case, CephFS will be responsible for data consistency. CephFS also creates the snapshot. We will have VFS Ceph module and VFS Ceph snapshot module in Samba to translate any VSS request from the Windows to the Ceph snapshot request that CephFS can understand. Thus, these together, that is CephFS, VFS Ceph and VFS Ceph snapshot will together perform as VSS provider. And Windows Explorer here in our example will act as VSS requester who enumerates or lists available snapshots and restores them or backs them up whenever required. Now we know that VSS facilitates the interaction between components that are involved in creation and maintenance of point-in-time copies of data. VSS achieves this communication among various different components using a protocol named as FSRVP. The FSRVP protocol stands for File Server Remote VSS Protocol. So this is basically working as remote procedure calls. So this protocol is modeled in such a way that client-side and server-side implementations can be integrated with existing volume shadow copy or a snapshot creation utility. In our case, this utility will be CephFS. So FSRVP provides an interface to the client in order to list, create, even delete the snapshots from the server. External applications can be use this interface for management of snapshots or shadow copies. Based on our use case, we will not be doing the deletion and creation of snapshots from the Windows client. We'll be just doing enumeration and restoration of snapshots. We'll be using VFS Ceph snapshot module in Samba, which can support these actions. There is another module in Samba which is known as VFS Snapper, which will even enable creation and deletion of snapshots from client with the help of FSRVP, which we will not be covering in this presentation. We will not be focusing on creation and deletion, as I've already said. We will not be doing it from the client. Instead, it will be done on CephFS server. And CephFS, we'll be doing it from the CephFS itself. We'll not be doing it from the Windows client. Snapshot, this is the last sentence has already been explained by me. Next, let me go and explain about VFS Ceph snapshots module. So this module exposes CephFS snapshots for the use by Samba. In order to access snapshots from Windows client, we will have to enable VFS Ceph module. So to enable this, we'll have to add some configurations in Samba. So this is an example of such configuration. We'll have to, in front of VFS objects, we'll have to mention Ceph snapshots. Ceph snapshot refers to VFS Ceph snapshots module. And we have also mentioned Ceph, that means VFS Ceph module. So this is an example for VFS Ceph, that is VFS Ceph basically uses libCephFS for accessing files. And here we are not using kernel mount. We also have other configuration for use case of kernel mount. So the path will be a non-mounted CephFS path. And we also mentioned that kernel shared modes equals to no. That is, in this configuration, we will not be supporting kernel mounts. We have a different configuration for that. So when used with, as I said before, the absolute path is required to be mentioned in the configuration, and we should not be mentioning the mounted path here. Below is a configuration for mounted CephFS. We'll just have to mention path and make sure that Ceph snapshots module is marked as VFS objects. We'll not be marking VFS Ceph module because that will not be used in this case because we'll not be using libCephFS. Now it's the time for demo. It's going to be a simple demo about what I have explained now. Will it be? Yeah. Okay. So this is a 3-node cluster of CephFS. Can I get it to be playing? Is it playing? I think, yeah, if you have any questions, maybe you can. Yeah, so for the information, I'm saying that here the mic is here, so audience can use this mic, yeah, to ask the questions. So for now, I'll repeat your question. So, yeah, so basically you did not understand how we are using it with the kernel mount, right? We can access files in Ceph in two ways. We can access from the kernel mount, and we can use libCephFS module for accessing the files. So while you access the files, there is no difference. This is something that is happening internally with the CephFS. Uh, when we use with the libCephFS, we can have a particular configuration, is what I have said. When you use kernel mount, we'll be using a particular configuration. So there are particular uses when you use the POSIX, this mount. So they can be performant. They can be good with performance. But when used with external applications like Samba, we'll be having this API. So we can use libCephFS. So we can use that library and establish the connection between external applications. So that way we have two different ways of accessing the files. So this is different configurations for these type of accessing. Hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, does anyone have any other question? Yes.
Yeah, hello. So maybe I didn't understand, but you mentioned a VFS Ceph snapshot module.
Yeah.
But couldn't you use the regular VFS shadow copy as well? Is there any problem?
Even that module is present, but we have, this is particularly for Ceph use case. VFS shadow copy module we can use for any backend. So this particular one is written specifically for CephFS. We have certain translation that are required for CephFS itself. It handles all the cases that is required for CephFS. So maybe I have not tested the shadow copy module. It is also quite old. So we have all the requirements of CephFS that is being implemented in this module. So we are referring to this module. Okay. Hope that helps. Any other questions? Okay, I think the video will be played in a while, maybe. Yeah, so if so what is the issue that they're facing? Are they not able to log into their Gmail?
Login, but the thing is that do you have the video somewhere on a stick or something?
I have it on Drive. Is it?
On which one? On what?
Google.
Ah, yeah. That's why we try to log them.
I can.
If you, yeah.
So this code is present, but we are not supporting it yet. So yeah, it is yet to be like maybe you can we can have some we can expect to have some support in maybe Tentacle and next versions of Tentacle, but not yet. So yeah, code is present. You can try it out in your test setups, but not in business setup.
Could you maybe also share a little bit about the outlook, like the next planned items that are on the roadmap?
Yeah, yeah.
Just in the meantime.
So we also have the future plans for this. One is to enable this feature by default on the shared folders. So as of now, this is not supported by default. We are planning to make it as a default supported feature. Next, we'll be having manager support. We have manager module support for NFS Ganesha. We are also have introduced some level of support for Samba now, but we do not yet have a support for this snapshot feature. So VSS shadow copy feature. So that also is in our to-do list. Next is we'll be doing a lot of testing and bug fixing. If ever you find any bugs or if you encounter any issues, feel free to maybe open a BC. You can do it on a CephFS list if you find it related to Ceph snapshots, or you can also do it on Samba list if you find it related to the VFS Ceph or VFS Ceph snapshot module. So the links are provided in the next slides. Maybe I'll be showing it once the video plays. So.
So now you need to accept his request for Google Drive, and then we'll be able to. It's Gilles. You need to accept. Yeah. You need to agree. Yeah, and then should be able to. Did you accept it already? Or maybe the last one?
I did.
Maybe the last one? One more? This is the last request he did. Yeah, because he asked a lot. This one should be okay. Hopefully.
I think it's. Then this.
Yeah, this one. Is it this one? Yeah, this one.
It's
You accept it already? Okay, no worries.
Yes, and now it's going to play. Yeah, this is a simple setup. First, we'll begin with the volume information. So I have used our a project known as SIT environment, which we use in Samba team to create the setup. So this is a 3-node cluster. These are the IP address. So just I'll be letting you know about that, the 3 nodes. First is storage 0, storage 1, and storage 2. Sorry? Yeah, I'm just. Oh, it's playing here, but it's not. I think it's a technique. Okay. Okay, so this is the. We'll begin with the CephFS volume info. Just to make sure that we have set it up on these nodes, storage 0, 1, and 2, the monitor addresses. So we're just clarifying that we are using the same nodes. Yeah, it's just the initial step. Yeah, so these are the 3 nodes, and we are just making sure that we have correct SMB status. We'll be briefly checking the SMB status. So we'll be having a username test1. So mission address is this one. This is in Windows client, and we'll be using SMB 3.11 version. So we're just quickly checking SMB status on all the 3 nodes. Yes. Yeah, this is the configuration that I was talking about. Above is the global configuration that implies to all the shares that are present in the in our setup, and this is the these configuration refers to the particular. These are the share specific configuration. You can mention name of the share above, and then mention the specific configuration you want to apply to a particular share. So I'm just looking at test param on all the nodes. This is going to be same on all of them. So we will be mentioning about our VFS objects and path details in share specific configuration. So we can see it in share CephFS default, under share CephFS default in this slide. Yeah, that is where we have mentioned. We have mentioned Ceph snapshot. So this is for a kernel mounted example. We'll not be we'll not be showing about VFS Ceph example, because that's going to be almost the same, just that path will be different. We'll not be giving mount share, but we'll be giving the absolute path of the share. So this is just how we are showing where exactly we do the configuration changes. This is in share conf, where we do the global changes. SMB share conf, and SMB conf we are doing the global configuration, and for share specific changes we'll be doing in share configurations. So this is where we do the share specific configurations. Yeah. I think I'll not be able to forward it. Yeah. So I'll just be showing the mounted path. So this is the mount path. Mount MNT share is the mount path, and this is the share that we are focusing on. So we'll see the mount path, what is exactly present inside it. So we have 2 directories, few files. Let's go inside one of the directories, cd into one of the directories, and see what is present when we have snapshots. So basically, we do not see anything related to snapshot here, but there will be a hidden directory named as .snap, which we will be able to cd into. So this will consist of the snapshots that are created previously. They will be consisting of actual copies of all the data of these directories and files. So for each directory, we'll have a .snap folder, and that will hold all the file details or all the contents of that particular directory. So if you can see what is present inside a particular snap. So we have file 1 and file 2. If you cat and we see that the contents of the file will also be present. Yeah. So I'm just, I have already taken the snapshot. I will quickly create a snapshot now. So in this video, I haven't done the quiescing. Quiescing is very much important for the consistency of the distributed system. Here we have a 3-node cluster, so we should be doing quiescing first, mentioning that all the 3 mount points of all the 3 nodes, so that data is consistent. Basically, it pauses the I/O and then enables the, then we'll be able to create the snapshot. And once we are done with the snapshot, we'll have to stop the quiescing. So now I am just doing it for the sake of example. So we are just listing the snapshots that are created here. Sorry, this is a typo, and then we'll be going with the yes, we have 3. We already had 2 snapshots. Now I have created a 1 more snapshot. We can also get the information about all the snapshots. So I'll be getting info of one of the snapshot to see what is actually present. Yeah, we'll be having create time and some other information that will be required for maybe if you want to clone it. This is a Windows client. Maybe it was too fast. It's the shared folder. So that we had all the directories that we had seen before here represented. We can see it from Windows client. So that was a Linux server where we were seeing previously. We can go to previous versions tab here through properties and maybe see all these snapshots that we have created and select which one we want to restore and go ahead with restoring it. That way we'll be able to create restoration of snapshots. Yeah, this will be done. So yeah, it takes a while because I am using both the systems from a lab system, which is away from my local client. So it is taking quite a while. So, but it will be completed. Yeah, this is done. So one warning is that once you restore the copies, we will not be able to go back. You should be careful that we don't store the back. You will have to store maybe the copy of the previous version yourself. Like once you go back to the previous version, you will not be able to come back to the version that we're already in. So I'll be going. The demonstration is now complete. So I have already talked about future plans. Here is the link for tracker.ceph.com where you can file Ceph-related issues, and this is bugzilla.samba.org where you can file the issues related to Samba. Also, I encourage you all to maybe test this feature because I have tested this out. Maybe this one-person effort is not going to be enough, so we want all of you to test it in your free time, maybe report a lot of bugs so that we can try to fix them and make this feature better for you all. These are some general references. And this is my contact details. Thank you. So I think so do you have any more questions? I think we had some question answer session before. So if you have any more, please go ahead. Yes, please. I can use this mic.
Just a real quick one. What version of Samba were you using there?
It is present in the current version also, so we can be using it.
Okay, so it's yeah, kind of the same state it's been in for a while.
Yeah, it is there. It is there for a while, but we do not have support like for CephFS. We need to test it out and make it default support. So
Okay.
yeah,
Thank
we
you.
do not recommend it to be on a business setup because we are not completely sure that how it works. So it's still in the testing state.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
we'd love to help because we've tried to use it a couple times. So
Okay,
you'll be
thank
hearing.
you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Please file some bugs. Okay, so I think we are done with all the Q&A. Yeah, thank you.